got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, BryGuy Productions. My name is Brian Salazar. Now, this video is going to be more of an informative video, more like an introduction video, more than actual content. I just figured that you guys would probably want to know who I am before like stumbling upon one of my videos and seeing, oh, just something random, you know? I am 22 years old. I just recently graduated with an associate's degree for law enforcement, but I haven't really started in that field yet. I'm still currently working, thinking about getting like a bachelor's degree. So that's why I haven't necessarily started my career as of yet, but that's definitely in the works. I currently work at Best Buy. What will your channel be about? So this channel is going to be more like a DIY as far as like car stuff. I currently have a Mustang GT, also known as Ruby 2 valve. It is a red fire coupe Mustang, and yes, it's a manual. Pretty much, it's stock. It's pretty much stock. Nothing has been done to it. It's got 65,000 original miles on it, and I really just want to start making those modifications. I've always been into cars, but I've never really modified any of my cars. I would say my very first car was when I was 17, was a Chrysler Crossfire. It was a great car, not fast at all, but I ended up getting rid of it because it just got really expensive. I've been on my own insurance, my own car insurance, since I was able to get my license, and it was premium gas. I worked at a restaurant and my paychecks they weren't even $1,000 a paycheck. I live in a small town in Illinois, Beardstown, so it's not like we're really busy at this restaurant. It's not like we're having hundreds and hundreds of people coming in to kind of, you know, bring in tips and all that stuff, so I decided to get rid of my car. My second vehicle was the Scion TC. I think it was a 2007 if I recall, and it was black. I love that car. It had a really nice sound system, and it was kind of a quirky little like hatchback, but it looked like a coupe. I ended up selling it because, and I know it makes me sound like an elitist or something, but I sold it because it was an automatic. I realized that I really missed a manual, so I sold it. Then I got myself the first Mustang. It was a 2001 Red Fire. I think it was Red Fire. No, it might be like Laser Red. I don't remember what's the other color code for the red Mustangs. 2001 Laser Red convertible Mustang. It was a manual, of course, and I got that one pretty cheap. I think $5,000. Well, pretty cheap nowadays, but back in the day, I was like maybe like 18, and it was a pretty big investment. The reason I sold that one is because the small town that I currently live in, and then my workplace where I work at Best Buy, it's an hour drive. And I worked every single day. So the miles went up like crazy on it. I think I bought it with like 80,000 miles. And within a couple months, I was already over 120. It was like 43 miles there and back home. But the reason that I ended up getting rid of it is because the car just started falling apart on me. It was a really reliable daily driver as far as the engine goes. But you guys know Ford in the early 2000s, their interiors were complete garbage. So the seatbelt retractor wasn't working. That little pillar by the door where you just pull it with your hand to, you know, close it, it was falling on both sides. The seats were ripped. It was an ugly tan interior too. The speedometer, it was giving me 5 miles over what I was actually going. So for example, my speedometer would say I was going 25. In reality, I'm only going 20. But not only that, then the light went out in it. And then one day, I was actually hanging out with a buddy of mine, and we went to go see a movie. I think it was a Star Wars Episode 7. It was in theaters. We were driving back home in the middle of the night, top down and everything. And then we hit a deer. The deer came through the passenger side, and then it hit the fender. I think its butt, the deer's butt hit the door. Then it went over us while we were driving. I think we were going like, it was a country road, so it's like 50 miles an hour. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I tried to fix it up. I bought a new fender, new door. I was planning to paint it, but again, it was just too much for somebody who was just starting out in the kind of car scene and working every single day an hour away. So I just really could not fix this car. So all the parts that I had bought for the car, I pretty much sold it to whoever wanted it. I sold it relatively cheap. I lost money on it, of course. But I said, hey, it's a project car. Engine works completely fine. It's just these little things that you just need to fix. I'll give you all my parts if you want it. Then after that, I ended up getting myself a beater Chevy Impala to take me to work. And after I saved money, I made my first big decision, and I got myself a 2014 Mustang GT. It was the Deep Impact Blue, and yes, it was a manual as well. Great car. My biggest regret is actually getting rid of it, and the reason that I got rid of it was because I think I was paying like over $300 a month for the insurance. And I had the beater Impala with me as well, so that didn't help, but I was paying over $300 for that specific car. And then because I had it on a loan, because I bought it for 22 with only like 43,000 miles on it, 22 grand for 4 years, I believe. I was paying over, again, $300. My end goal was to get like a Dodge, a Challenger or Charger. I really wanted the Hellcats, but I would settle with like the Scat Packs because those are still really great vehicles. So I told myself, if I'm gonna be spending $600 over almost $700 a month to maintain this vehicle just on payments, I might as well just sell it, save up my money for either the Dodge Challenger or the Charger. But they don't come in a manual, unfortunately. I know that I think the Challenger comes in, the RT model comes in a manual, but anyways, that's why I sold that Mustang. Biggest regret. Then I got rid of the Impala because it was an ex-cop car, so you know how that goes. High mileages, they're not in best condition. So I ended up selling it to a buddy of mine who needed a car because they were in an accident until they can get a better car. And I got myself a Hyundai Veloster. It was a blue, and it was a great car. It was a turbo model, manual again, and it was great. No problems whatsoever with that car. It's just, it wasn't an American car. I'm not an elitist. I like all cars. I like my JDMs. I like the European cars. KDMs, I like those as well. But my bread and butter is going to be the American cars. Camaros, Corvettes, Challengers, Chargers, Mustangs, really anything American with a big V8. I'm good. Yes, definitely. So that being said, and I wasn't necessarily ready for another big investment like that, I told myself I'm just gonna get myself another V8, a manual V8, something cheap that I can maintain and still modify. So I started looking, and I found myself a 2003 Mustang GT, aka Ruby 2 valve. This car is in much better shape than my first New Edge Mustang because it is now the dark gray instead of the tan. The interior is in mint condition. There's no rips, there's no broken plastics, anything like that. A lot lower miles. It is perfect. It's stock, and it's a coupe. Don't get me wrong, I love the convertibles, but there's not a lot of trunk space with those. And my top, if I didn't mention it, my top on my convertible, it can go down, but it wouldn't go back up. So that was another issue. So I think the coupes are just easier to maintain. And this one's laser red. So yeah, as far as that car goes, it's stock. And this is going to be the really like first car that I truly want to modify. Okay, so plans for the channel, or plans for Ruby 2 valve. These are not concrete, or I should say this isn't it. There's definitely going to be some more additions. This is just one of like the major things that I want to change myself about this vehicle to really make it stand out. There's not a lot of new edges in my area. It kind of works in my favor, but I definitely want to, again, make it my own. I do have a little list here. I kind of made it on my iPad that I kind of carry around. Okay, so the first modification that I want to do for Ruby 2 valve is tail lights. I want to get the Euro S550s, so they're the clear. For a while I was debating, do I want to do red and black, or do I want to do red and chrome? And I feel like everybody does red and black. Like, don't get me wrong, they look really good, but for a car of this age, I told myself I think chrome would look really nice as far as like the wheels and stuff like that. So that's why I want to do the clear taillights, because I want to do red and then have just clear taillights with chrome wheels. I think it'll just make it pop, make the red pop a little bit more. The second one would be clear headlights. So just like the rears, match the fronts, make them clear. Ducktail spoiler. Now I do have the ducktail spoiler, and I do already have the S550 tail lights. The Cobra style ducktail spoiler. It's unpainted, and they got it for me for Christmas. So shout out to my parents for that. They're definitely wanting me to also get more hands-on experience with these cars. So the next step would be lowering springs. I feel like the previous owner really couldn't tell me if it was on a stock ride height. It almost looks like it is on a stock ride height, but I've also seen some pictures of other vehicles with the same like wheel and tire setup as I do, but their wheel gap is a lot like bigger than mine. So it almost makes me wonder, is it lowered, but obviously not as low as I would like it to be, because there's still like a huge wheel gap. It still looks like a monster truck, but that would be the next thing that I want to do. Cobra front and rear bumper. I've seen numerous amount of pictures on Instagram of people who have the laser red Cobra Mustangs. It just looks sick. It really does. And I'm not gonna be turning mine into a Cobra clone by any means. I'm not gonna start badging my Mustang and then saying it's a Cobra. No, I just really hate the Mustang GT front bumper, because the fog lights, they don't look very good, and then the cutouts, the little mold for the license plates on the Cobras, it's just flush. You don't even get that, and I think that's what I want with mine. It's same with the rear bumper. I really like kind of like the bottom half of the bumper. I don't know what it's called, but that black strip that kind of runs across right like on top of the exhaust pipes. I think that looks sick. And I want that for mine. I've painted cars before. I wouldn't say I'm a professional by any means, but I've done paint jobs, not on full cars, but I've done parts like doors. I've done fenders. So I would buy all these parts, and then I would acquire the paints and just paint it myself. Borla S-type exhaust. My current car has a cat delete. It's really loud, but let me tell you, there's a lot of drone, and driving to work, driving with friends, because in my small town there's really nothing to do in town, so we have to go outside of town, usually 45 minutes to an hour away, to really do anything. And when you're driving 65 miles an hour and you hear the drone inside the vehicle, it drives me insane. So I want to just fix the cat back. Just want to do something a little bit quieter, but that still gives me that low rumble. So I really think that the Borla S-type exhaust would be great. I heard that the Attack is obviously a lot louder, a lot more raspy, but I think I'm looking for quality more than loudness, if that makes sense. Different style chrome wheels. I really want to change my chrome setup. My current car does have chrome wheels, but they've seen better days. I think they're the SVE inspired wheels. I'm not sure if they're rep wheels or they're like the actual thing, but again, they've seen better days. They've seen snow, they've seen dirt. So I think I need to replace them. Plus, I want to go wider in the back just to give it that muscle car look. Possible color change. Now, this is definitely for future, once everything else is done. Really seeing cars have that baby blue. I'm not sure if they're using the Ford color code that is the grabber blue. But if you guys have seen it, grabber blue with the clear tail lights and chrome wheels, that is like the look that I want for my car. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon as far as the color, but we'll see how this like YouTube thing goes and my job, you know, working every single day. I'd like to do that. So that's definitely on my list. And then the last thing is boosted or engine swap. Again, this is definitely for more down the road once everything else is done. Like appearance wise, I know that makes me sound like a racer, but I don't really want to mess with the engine. I don't want to make the engine unreliable because it is my daily driver. Then and everything else is done with the car. I'll really consider boosting it. Don't know if I want to do like a supercharger or a turbocharger. I'm probably going to do a supercharger or a possible engine swap. I'm not saying anything crazy, but if I want to just have a little bit more horsepower, I can do the Coyote, like 5.0, like the 2013, 2014 first gen Coyotes. I would be happy with that. But again, that's kind of where we are at right now. Again, I'm fairly new to this whole YouTube thing. I don't even have the proper setup. I'm really, all it is using my iPhone 13 Pro Max on a tripod in my room. And I have my iPad just to kind of jot down notes and brainstorming. But if this definitely goes well, I'll start uploading a lot more often and just coming up with different things. But anyways, that does it for today's video. Thank you for just kind of staying tuned. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death. This was a lot longer than I was anticipating, but it's the first video. I was really thinking I needed to introduce myself to you guys, tell you what my plans are, so you guys kind of know what's going on in my head. So if you like what you heard, if you like where my ideas are going for Ruby 2 Valve, feel free, please drop a like. This lets me know that going in the right direction. Leave a comment if you have some suggestions for the car, for me recording. Please let me know, because that's the whole point of this channel, is us working together. I want to learn any tips and tricks that you guys have for the car. If you guys want me to do something different when I'm recording, again, I'm open to all of that, because I just want to provide better content for you guys. So if you guys are ever having issues with your car, you search up whatever it is, I want my video to pop up, and not only that, but give you the proper information that you need, the right quality, so you can see exactly what's going on. So again, you help me, I'll help you guys. And again, entertainment factor. This is fun. I'm not in it for the money. This is just kind of like a side hobby thing for now. I'm just here to have fun. But again, if you like today's video, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye.